This video is also going to be on Brandon Biggs. This time we're looking at I've looked at a bunch of stuff he's had since the time that I made that video about a month ago. He seemed to make a lot of extreme predictions about all sorts of bad things that are going to happen. So much though that it's kind of concerning. I mean, it's just like, it's interesting, but there's a question about it. So I recently saw a podcast by Cameron Bertuzzi, and he had a guest on that was a Christian apologist. And they were looking into some stories about Brandon Biggs and reports in the past of things that he had said that were supposed to have happened that didn't. And they were along the same dramatic lines of what it is that I recently posted. So I wanted to put some clips in about what they saw.
I didn't find any of I wasn't able to confirm any of this. There's, again, like before a year ago, there's almost nothing on the internet about Brandon Biggs, which is pretty wild. But anyways, that aside, so this is what they say. They said he's described in vivid detail the upcoming start of World War III. They're talking about some reasons or some missed prophecies that he's made in the past, regaling his audience with all of the details of how that began. And this is where they put in bold, and notably has previously falsely prophesied a major crash of the economy in 2013, urging everyone to buy rations and supplies, which resulted in anyone who believed him suffering financial hardships. Okay, and they report that this happened in 2000, or it would have happened before 2013, but he prophesied that 2013 would result in this economic crash. Again, I don't have the primary sources for this. I'd love to have them to be able to sort of verify and look deeper into this. But then they say, in fact, he is reported. Exactly. This is what's reported by this website. In fact, he has also personally called up everyone he falsely prophesied to say sorry, and was subsequently forbidden by one pastor from ever prophesying in their church again. He also prophesied around this time that silver would go to $100 an ounce and that the Iraqi dinars would skyrocket, also urging everyone to invest in it, even though it tanked and they again all lost their shirts. Doesn't seem like the right word to use there.
Lost their shirt, common English idiom for losing money in the stock market.
Oh, okay. Never heard of that. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is it's interesting, and I wish we had the primary sources so that we could verify whether or not this is correct. If it is correct, that seems like pretty interesting information that a lot of people need to know about. So hopefully they get back to me, and hopefully maybe even Mike Winger has got some more information on this. Let me check Twitter real quick to see if they've responded. They have not. So, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing what Mike comes up with.
Yeah, I definitely agreed. But the reason why I'm talking about this now, related to the question of whether or not this guy's, intentionally trying to be this fraud and trying to dupe people, and maybe now that I'm reading this back, it could, I guess, go both ways. But it seems like if this is true, this seems like a track record of him just trying to really get things right and being wrong about them. And so, but again, that's just kind of how it strikes me. So it could be the case that he was intentionally trying to mislead people back then and is still doing it today.
Yeah, the way to make that case would be to note that if this report is accurate, which we don't yet know because we haven't seen the primary sources, but if the report is accurate, then he has a track record going back at least 11 years of making false prophecies that hurt people and that he was held accountable for, and he hasn't course corrected. And he's also, it's very hard to find anything about him on the web that's over a year old, but this is 11 years old. And so, like you asked at the beginning, could he have hidden older videos and things like that because they contain false prophecy? That's something that has to be considered in light of all this. So I'm not convinced that he's a conscious fraud. He may be, he comes across as a sweet, sincere guy, and that may be exactly what he is. But he's also not very credible as a prophet, as we're finding out. And here in this clip, he makes a very specific set of predictions that if it happens, it'll be way beyond random chance. But there's an asterisk that I'll give you after we've seen a little bit of what he says here.
So the point of this video is simply to kind of tell people that take Brandon Biggs with a grain of salt. Um, it seems like there's some kind of report of 10 or 11 years ago, Brandon Biggs making all these dramatic prophecies about a stock market crash. Same kind of stuff he's saying now. World War III starting, all sorts of stuff, like he's saying now. And him apologizing for having done that. There's no first person accounts. This Cameron Bertuzzi podcast is looking into trying to find that. But I guess the point of this is whether or not Brandon Biggs is a real prophet or someone that simply believes that he is. The point is that there are people, if we look, whether it's Joan of Arc making all sorts of predictions about the English going to lose this battle that they did, and also that God had appointed her to be to lead the French, and she was telling the French king he needed to do this, and she told him something that made him realize that it really was from God. So yeah, our Catholic tradition has lots of stories about prophets that are real prophets. We're not sure about this, but I think it's good to think about. So, kind of look at things and see what's true and what's not.